Well,
Boom.
hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast. It is time to travel back in time, so I have my TARDIS pilot with me, Dave Steele, as
Hello,
we.
everyone. Hello, everyone. It's great to be back. Welcome back and all that. Thank you for joining us, etc.
uh, so, folks, we're banking some stuff. That meaning that we're going to record 3 episodes in a row.
Yep.
So enjoy it. We may be, if you're going to be listening to these weeks apart, but it was
Yeah.
there. And we'll talk about it when we get started soon. But we're doing it's time's past time. Yay. So we're going to be covering Starman 42.
42.
Um,
Published March 1998, the week after my 25th birthday.
very cool.
Yeah.
I remember. I think by this point I was buying it off the stand from Velocity Comics,
Okay.
local comic shop.
I I
It's
was
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was buying it and from it was getting put aside for me in Forbidden Planet, but I remember at this period for a few months I kind of let it build up for a while. I think I let it build up for about 4 or 5 months at this point, maybe a little bit longer, because it was, as we'll discuss and as you will sort of discuss over the next few episodes, it gets a bit kind of hopscotchy, a bit kind of fragmented, a bit patchworky, because we hop from Matt and the Shade in the last issue to this time's past to something else to another time's past to something else to another time's past before we gradually get towards Jack going to space, plus the 80-page giant and all that sort of stuff's going on at the same time. So I'm told this is a time when James Robinson wasn't having the best of times, which is why
Was this during his divorce?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I
that's
always kind of thought this was a little bit about Tony Harris as well, because
yeah,
he his last issue is the one where Jack decides to go to space, which is coming up.
yeah,
We all know, and it's beautiful, but it's the right time because you hand space over to you have a new artist who
yeah.
I love equally with Tony.
Everything
Every Peter Sne-
Schneeb
Sneberg.
Schneeberg, I believe.
Sneberg.
Someone can write into the Earth2 podcast
Yeah.
at gmail.com and tell us if we've got that wrong. Peter will
Yeah.
forward it on. He won't mind.
My accent does not lean into it. One of my agents at work asked me, it was like, I told her I grew up in Northern Virginia. He goes, "Oh, is that why you have a a little bit of a New York accent?" I said, "I don't. It's not a New York accent. I have my father's cadence, which was New York,
Sure.
but I don't say I do. I moved down here and now I say y'all, which drives me nuts." But yeah, it is a weird time because there's a lot of, I don't want to say, there's the 80-page giant. He meets the Justice League. The issue where he goes, well, shouldn't Jack be a Justice Leaguer? Which is an issue I like, but it is a one and done.
Yeah, I like that issue a lot. I remember when I won't be here for that episode, so I'll quickly say I remember that one came out when I was visiting my friends down in Cambridge, circa May '98. Quite just before literally just before I started in HMV, because I got a message from my sister saying that HMV wanted me to come in for an interview while I was down in Cambridge. So I've got a memory of coming back from Cambridge maybe a day early, or knowing that I was about that. No, that wasn't what it was. Didn't come back early. I knew I couldn't stay longer than I was initially going. I had a kind of open return sort of thing. It's quite. I remember quite a lot of what was going on in my life when this one came out. But yeah, I remember there's one line at the start of the Jack's conversation with Kyle Rayner. So watch out for that one when you get to that episode.
I forgot when I'm like, because I'm not reading ahead. I'm peeking, but I'm not reading ahead.
Yeah.
So, but I went through that one and was like, oh yeah, this is this era of DC where it's even Superman Blue.
Yeah.
Which I like. People, when he went Superman Red and Blue, when it was coming out regular, I'd go in my comic shop and people would be complaining. You'd see it in the letters pages, and I'm like going, I don't give a fuck, man. It's Superman Blue, and they're doing it right.
Yeah,
making it last a while.
Yeah, it ran for months. It was brilliant. I remember it really well, because especially when they did when he split, and so you had Clark with one Clark with a red tie, one Clark with a blue tie, and it was covers when this is a job for Superman, and red's on one side of the chimney stack and blue's the side of the other. Man, now if we all had the time and the money, we could say, right, Ross, we're going to do a Superman. We're going to do a Superman Red and Blue read through. That's going to be
Every place he appears. I think it's, you had Ron Friends drawing him too, so it's
yeah.
it was because it looked like a Marvel cover. But yeah, this is these. There's the Miss One Shot. I don't even remember what the event is for that.
Get Old Frenzy. It
Oh,
was called. Because Lois Lane got a one shot and Donna Troy got a one shot, and I think The Secret from Young Justice got one.
oh, I remember that one. Yeah, that's it. That's
And
actually in the first Young Justice Omni.
yeah, and I think the what were they called? The Body Doubles from Resurrection Man. They got one.
I haven't read
And
Resurrection Man. I
oh
feel
wow,
yeah.
the
Me and
first
Kirby were
series was
talking
great.
about it. Me and Kirby, folks. You'll have already heard this, but me and Kirby yesterday did team drafts where we're each allowed to pick 10, create a lineup for JLA and Avengers, and you had to draft, and the first pick you had to do was pick a leader. So
Right,
so we did Avengers and JLA. We had a lot of fun, and the
that
lineups are
sounds good.
the
I look
lineups are
forward to
you
that.
some of the lineups we created are like this makes no sense, but that's cool. And Kirby for his JLA, he had Resurrection Man as a member of the team. And he
Wow.
goes, and it was like in part of the conversation, is that weird? No, because you don't worry about him dying. You just send him
Yeah.
into the really shitty stuff and he
Yeah.
dies, and then you hope he gets a new power
Yeah.
that's useful to you. You'll just,
Yeah. Because Butch Geist drew that one, didn't he? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Originally.
Oh, because
was
in
that
the DC Comics, it's him, Superman, and another character that he was most famous for
yeah.
at DC.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I kind of
I like that
I
his
remember
Superman was up there.
I remember dropping in and out of Resurrection Man because the thing is DC was putting a lot of good stuff out at this time. Because there was a lot of run about this period. There was stuff like Chase, Kronos, the Kent's miniseries was going on. They were trying a lot of interesting stuff. And, I remember being really so disappointed when Chase and Kronos finished because they were just excellent. Because DC 1 million's not too far away either.
Yeah, it is.
This year.
And that's an event that, because that issue's coming up.
Yeah.
Which that's going to be a big issue. I think I'm going to have guests on that one because that one was like when I read it, because I wasn't reading 1 million. I had many things. I was going to get the trade, but
no,
it was that this series from 1 million is, I think, in some ways that Starman gets to have that moment in that event that is so important. Like the big bad is from the Starman comic.
Yeah, there's a lot of because a lot of these crossovers. I was flicking through my Secret Wars 2 omnibus the other night, and you sort of go, some of these stories are really good. Some of the crossover stories are really good. Some of them the Beyonder is in 3 panels and it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So there's always that thing with crossovers, but some of the 1 million issues, they either showed you like another version of the character, like Robin, for example, or like Starman, they tie it into the main event, or like the Creeper, they tie it into the into the event. And some of them were not really essential and were pretty disposable, but some of them ended up being really not significant as such, but actually really strong issues of the series, in their own right. And quite often that wasn't the way. Like you read, say, for example, the Daredevil Secret Wars 2 crossover is really good because it's a story where the Beyonder gives Matt his sight back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's quite interesting. Whereas you read Defenders issue 152, which is flagged up as a Secret Wars crossover, and he's in it for 2 pages, and it's, it could have gone either way without him. I think it's a good thing in a crossover when the author actually goes, right, this is interrupting what I'm doing, but I can do something really interesting with it. And the Starman 1 million issue is brilliant. I remember at the time reading it at the time and just being like, yes, James Robb. I mean, just thinking how lucky we were to have James writing this comic.
Who wrote 1 million? Who was in charge of 1 million? Was it Morrison?
It's Grant, yeah.
So do you think, I'm going to ask this now because you'll probably end up being on that episode in 3 years when we get to it. Because it is later than I thought.
It's not too far away, actually.
It actually isn't. It isn't. But
yeah.
So Grant had to have picked the Starman as the bad guy for the main
Presumably,
piece,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then gave Robinson, his buddy, do something cool with it. And when he said, okay, I'm going to fucking kill Ted. And then everybody in editorial went, okay, you can drop the mic and walk out the room. Because that's the biggest thing I remember from it. So
My thing, I mean, I'll save it for if I'm on the episode, but the thing I always remembered about 1 million was just it was a real scope, it was a real opportunity for everyone to sort of flex their imaginative muscles. And a lot of people did. And a lot of people didn't, but it's always the way. But there was some really, really good stuff. But I remember just thinking the basic idea was that Grant had worked out the reason it was called DC 1 million was because he'd worked out it was 1 million months since the publication of actually number one, which was why it was the 853rd century. And I just remember going, that's the most Grant thing ever.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like the 1 million event for me was, it's one of those ones, it's like the Seven Soldiers of Victory one he did too.
Sure.
Where it just crafted a little bit better. What I like about Seven Soldiers a little better because it's all him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very structured. There's no issues where it's just 3 panels or it's a Red Sky issue like, in Crisis.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that it was imaginative and that it affected this book so much. And, you know, Ted gets to be a fucking superhero.
Yeah.
It's really good. So, folks, we're covering 42. Let's go over some of the pertinent data. Who was working on this book? It's written by James Robinson, of course. Pencils by Matthew Dow Smith, and inks by Matthew Dow Smith. I bought his book, Mischiefs of Magic. It's all the DC supernatural characters as kids at a summer camp at a local library.
All right, I don't know that. That sounds good.
Oh, dude, it's great. The head counselor is the Phantom Stranger. That
sounds amazing.
No, yeah, there's a little
dude.
There's a little dead man, and there's this little clique of kids that are trying to solve a mystery in the library.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got it. It's great. It's a great book.
When
it's
was it
very
out?
different.
When was that?
Came out sometime last year. He's working on October Girl, which is another one with the same kind of style. I follow him. He's on Blue Sky. I follow him. He's very nice. He my buddy Melvin bought a digital print of his of the Man Thing.
Right. Okay.
So it was fun. It's he's good.
I had not heard of that at all. So
I'll send you the stuff on it. I think you like it. It's a little trade paperback. Right. And it's for YA, but I read it and I laughed.
I'll have a look and see. If we've got it in the shop then, because I love the Phantom Stranger.
It's a little blue book.
Right. I'll have a look. I'm back.
Yeah, you'll like it. I think you'll really enjoy it. You like the supernatural characters, and
I'm intrigued.
Satana, she's there. Yeah, they're all like 13 years old.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Anyway, but is by way of a brilliant segue, is Etrigan involved?
Yeah, I think he's there.
So there we go, Etrigan.
I can't remember. I would hope so, because one of my favorite episodes of the Justice League cartoon, the Tim one, is when they're all turned into children and they have a baby Etrigan.
Yes, amazing.
It's so good. Let's start with the cover. It's Tony Harris painting. I love it. I like his version of Ted when he's young. He's got there's the heroic, like iron chin, like Superman and Batman kind of have, but I like the way he looks. He's not. It looks a little like William Powell, the actor William Powell.
He's not too super buff.
Yeah, he's not.
That's one of the benefits. One of the great things about Tony's art is that he draws. People look like human beings. They don't look like, they don't look like an image guy drew them. No offense to any image guys that are listening.
Yeah. Well, I like even overly. People go, Neil Adams is very realistic. And I said, no, he's not as realistic as there's realistic, But I agree with you. He also looks like he was a character created in the 1940s. He captures that look. I think he captures Ted's costume, that it looks like it's because his isn't like everybody else's where it hooks on the shoulders. His is, some people draw that it goes to a fine point. but it's really like it's a hood, except it's not. It's just a cape.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because it's got that sort of gathered quality at the top. Yeah.
And he can pull off the fin and the ear things as well as Adam Strange.
Absolutely.
And
where do you one of the things that Shag Matthews has been talking about on his JSA in the 90s, he's doing the 92, 93 Mike Parabeck series, and one of the things that's come up on that is how Ted's hood is coloured green and sort of blends into the cape. And some people seem to be very against this, and some people don't seem to mind it. I didn't mind it. I thought it was a nice little design change.
Yeah, I think there've been some, Tony Harris has shown ones that were like, and guest artists that, with the one, I forgot who drew it, but had where his bodice wasn't just a pullover. It had buttons along the top and down one side, like Shazam's.
Yeah.
I like that one. I think that's his Liberty Legion. What is it? The JSA Elseworlds he did.
Oh, the Liberty File.
Yeah. So,
that was
but
amazing.
I like. What do you think of his Etrigan? Because
he looks good.
He does.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a little more. He's less squat.
Yeah, I like the
Kirby version, but he looks. I like him. I think.
Yeah.
Tony could do I'd read Tony's Black Label Demon series.
It's quite I mean, one thing that strikes me immediately is that the eyes aren't quite as wide and manic as maybe you'd expect from the.
Yeah, it does look more like a normal human being.
Yeah, from maybe what you'd expect from maybe the Kirby stuff or the early 90s stuff. But yeah, he looks fine. He doesn't look. It can, I mean, in some ways, it kind of does look like a man in an Etrigan costume, but no, I like the shadow that he's casting. The good thing about the omnibus is that it picks out the trade dress, so you get the artwork nice and clear, and it looks really nice in the omnibus, the way it's been sort of presented without the logo getting the road. And it's nice to see the big shadow that Etrigan's casting, and it's an interesting one because obviously this story is all about Ted, who's the rational man of science, coming up against an inarguable sort of demonstration of what he doesn't believe in. That's the opposite of what he believes in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'd forgotten all three of them, because folks, we're banking 42, 44, and 46 today. These three times past. I didn't remember much of this one.
Yeah,
I hadn't read it in like 10 years. So
yeah, I mean, the last time I would have read it was when I read the whole series during lockdown. And I think the trouble is, as I said at the top, like I kind of paused in reading in the 40s because of this fragmented sort of, hopping about between times past and current issues. And I think because of that, I remember very clearly for a few months, I was still picking the book up but not reading it. So this isn't one that I would have read and then reread in anticipation of the next one. I would have read it maybe once when I had a burst of catching up with the 6 or 7 issues that I'd let build up.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's not one. It's another one that I don't remember too. It's not I don't remember. I don't have strong memories of it. I don't, because obviously I didn't read it when it came out. That was the trouble.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
My thing with these is because normally at times pass aren't just to give you history lessons. I think they're to set you up for stuff. The second one we're going to do definitely is set, and the third one set up. But it's like, this is what you need to know for these characters.
Yeah.
But the Etrigan one was more about Ted, like you said, Ted believing in science. I like what he says in this too. He's like, no, because the guy goes, the Spectre and Dr. Fate.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, but I don't believe in magic. I just believe it's a different type of science, of a movement of energy. He sees it as a physicist would see it.
Yeah.
Very logical, and I like that aspect of it. So, folks, we're not going to do a synopsis. I think let's kind of go through it because I think it's I really love the art in this. Matthew Smith does a fucking amazing job.
Of course, because he drew the times past. He drew the other times past, did he not? The one
Ragdog?
That was right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried I was misremembering that, but no, that's
No, yeah, he did do
uh,
that one too, and that's a really good one. And this one is very film noir or Hammer film or
mhm.
Universal. A Universal
Yes.
has a very
He
universal
yeah.
horror feel.
It
It's all
really,
right.
really, it really suits Matt's style really suits it. I think it would have been interesting to if there'd been regular if there were going to be regular times passed. I think he'd be the guy to do it. And also, like, looking at this, I'm sort of thinking it'd be fun if he'd maybe done one of the fill-in arcs in Sandman Mystery Theater. I think he would have fitted that quite nicely.
Oh, I think he would too.
Yeah.
I think it's because this is perfect because they're talking about Opal and Gotham side by side,
Mm.
and structurally the buildings are similar, but Gotham is dark and gritty.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that's just what one page, two
Yeah.
panels.
Yeah.
You get a whole feel about the journey. And what did you think of the splash page and that the icicle is just a dude in clothes?
Yeah. I think it's great. I love
I
how
do
they're all.
too. It took me a minute to
I
figure
love
out
how
what the
like
yeah, there's this panel and he's being interviewed by the Adair's
well, it's Ted and I think Billy O'Dare and whoever and is it Red Bailey? Was that who it'd be? I'm not
Red, that's
sure.
probably yeah, it's Red Bailey.
Yeah,
That's what the
but
other
it's
one's
I
Red
love the
Bailey.
fact that Red's smoking.
Yeah.
And the condensation and steam coming off of icicle is fascinating as well.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
great. And
and
the
almost like
icicle's not, and of course he's not talking.
yeah,
And it has
what is
two
it?
splash pages. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
There's
because we see
one in Opal. This is in Opal. And
Jason
then
Blood sort of returning, as it were.
yeah, and then the second panel is oh my goodness, what's Estrogen's human name?
Jason Blood.
Jason Blood
Yeah,
walking out of the steam in Gotham and with blood on the wall.
yeah. I think it's the sort of strong implication is that he's just changed back.
Yeah. So in your
I
book,
see.
are they side by side panels? I'm looking in the app.
I'm the omnibus. So what we have in the omni is the opening page is the side by side
Okay.
cityscapes, and then these two are together.
Ah, see, I read these on the app because I'm
Right.
not as mobile, folks. I've got a broken foot, and so I didn't want to crutch over the 4 or 5 feet from the sofa bed to where this was on a shelf in the
Yeah.
hallway going into my room in my little Starman shrine. Uh, what sucked is this episode was an omnibus is in Compendium 1 and the rest of them are in Compendium 2, and it's like moving 2 bricks.
Of course.
So
On the subject of compendiums, as we speak, the second volume of Sandman Mystery Theater is imminent.
I know it's making it hard.
So
what I'm next payday, what I
that's
can
exciting.
afford. Yeah,
I'll
I
get it.
am. It's that in the NAM is coming out in omnibus in
Yes.
omnibus form.
Yes.
I gotta have it. It's because
Yeah.
it's not. They're not going to reprint it often.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one of the most. I think it's one of the most important war comics.
Yeah, I read a couple of issues of it when I was a kid because they just randomly turned up over here. I've got a couple of trades of it, but
Oh, you got that trade that first trade with the first one. It's all Mike Gooding,
hang on.
Golden.
Yeah, I can't. I thought there's something blocking the view in the shelf. I've got a couple of volumes of Nam. I like the fact. Do you know what? I'll just go and have a look. I'll go and have a look.
So that's would you what would here while you're looking at it? What would you
Are
think
we
of
going
Michael?
off on a tangent already? I think we are going off on a
Well,
tangent.
I'm about to loop it right back in. Don't you think Michael Golden would have been a good times past artist?
Oh yeah, yeah, he would.
Yeah.
There we go. I've got volumes 2 and 3 in trade.
I was
Yeah.
okay.
Hold them up for the benefit of our YouTube viewers. Haha.
Yeah. They're great,
Pete,
folks. If
Pete
you've
was
never heard
telling
of
me.
it, Nom was a comic by is it Chuck Dixon? Not Chuck. Is it Chuck?
It says Murray. Somebody Murray is the
But
writer.
it's Michael
Doug
Golden
Murray.
was
Doug Murray is the writer on these
okay.
ones.
He's a vet. I'm remembering some of that. He was a vet, I think.
Yeah.
And Michael Golding did a lot of the early issues and then did the covers. And it goes in real time. So
Sam Glansman worked on it as well, and Frank Springer. That's fantastic. I'm hoping that Max and Rich will talk about this.
John Severin did some.
Yeah. Peter has assured me.
But it's a great war. But oh God, imagine John Severin drawing the times past.
Yeah.
A Starman Golden Age one.
I know. Starman and Sergeant Rock team up or something.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah.
We got a bunch of Nam into the shop a few months ago, and I kind of talked Pete and I told Peter to not let me buy them. Hi, Peter, if you're listening. But we've got another.
Isn't he your enabler?
We've got no. It's, I think it's mutual in some ways.
Okay.
But we've got Pete's in the process of sort of negotiating this really big collection that's coming in sort of in chunks, and apparently there is an almost full run of Nam in that. So I'm just like, right, you fuck it. I'm just gonna just do me a deal. I'm gonna buy this full run of Nam.
Oh my God.
I remember very clearly. I was about, obviously the Vietnam War. This Tangent City, New Jersey, by the way.
You're not old enough to remember the war, are you?
Well, exactly, and it wasn't as big a deal over here. Obviously, it wasn't. And, we had our own problems.
It would have been on your nightly news. America shits their pants again today in South Korea.
I'll ask my mom if she remembers.
She probably does. I remember. For me, it was very vivid because my dad was there for 1 year of my early life.
I had a couple of issues of the series, and I remember sort of like not being that big on war comics at the time, but really quite enjoying them. But then, of course, in the early 90s, Quantum Leap did it, The Wonder Years did it, Forrest Gump did it. There was that Tour of Duty program that used to be on. That was always worth a watch. So it crept into our sort of and it was Apollo Hardcastle Record 19. So that's how it all crept into young people in my. I mean, I was like. I was born in 73,
I mean, it's
so
kind of like
it was,
because the writers back then were a little older than you. So they remember it. Because you're what? Yeah. You're not 50 yet, are you?
I'm 52 now.
Okay. So you're only 8 years younger than I am. Yeah. So I was a kid. When I read it, it gave me a better idea of, because the movies are, they're a hyper version of whatever you're watching. So
of course.
So let's get back to I like
back to Starman.
I like when we get to the next page we get.
Where have I put it?
I like the panel usage in this issue. You know what I mean? It's it's very Kirby. I'm reading a lot of Kirby FF recently. I just read FF 1 through 128 in the last 6 months. So I've been inundated with it, but I like this, how it moves. And how we're seeing both sides of the investigation from the 2 points of view, the one in Opal, the one in Gotham, and the Icicle.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because we've read a bit of Kirby stuff. I mean, I'd started reading Commandy. Pete and I did all the Sandman stuff.
Every time you mention Commandy, I spent 30 minutes on eBay looking for a cheap volume of it, and it's none to be found.
Wow.
It's fucking, the omnibus goes for like $150.
Wow.
Yeah. They'll reprint it. But every time you mention it, it's like Pavlovian. Ooh, is there a cheap one on there?
Commandy's the sort of thing, a couple of DC finest would be amazing.
Yeah, I think
they'll probably do it in 3 volumes.
They're doing the Demon one.
Yeah,
I'm buying that.
It's bound to happen. They should do the Brave and the Bolds and the DC Comics Presents and the Karate Kid crossover and all that. It'd be really good.
Yeah. But he goes to the 4-panel layout for the next for 2 pages and then back to the split screen.
Yeah. It's very. I do wonder how much of this is sort of was what Matt did or how much James directed it, because James. I get a sense that James, one of these authors, always knew what he wanted. I don't know.
Did he give? It depends. They all give different. Some people don't give a tight script. Some writers are like, I don't need that. Moore gives, an insanely tight script, and I think Robinson's probably somewhere. It depends on your partner. Him and Tony had a good relationship.
Yeah,
and and it shows.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think he works very well with Schneeberg as well. It's a fascinating thing, actually. Like, excuse me. I mean, we're past the halfway point now.
Where are you at?
Breakfast with Rachel and Tim.
I'm waving.
Dave says bye.
Bye, Dave.
Sorry, my wife's off to brunch. Get away from not having to listen to one side of a conversation. But I do like it. I mean, I like how Starman has to call the Gotham hero and his Green Lantern.
Yes.
I love that. I want an Alan Scott mini set in the 40s, and take everything they've done with him.
Yeah.
And show you want to show me that part of the story of him surviving in that world with who he is as a character now.
Yeah.
And I want to see someone draw him in a 40s like this. I get every time Matt Smith is doing these costumes, they look 40-ish.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
looks
they
like
look-
it's
they
made
look-
of a material that Superman
Exactly.
would never. Yep,
Yeah, they look like clothes.
they don't look like undies.
Yeah, they don't look like spandex or a Jim Lee.
Or all that
Blake
stuff that
Woods.
they do in modern
Nonsense.
movies. It's like, do you need the seams to be that pronounced?
Exactly.
Drives me.
Exactly.
Even on the new Superman costume in the new movie, which I love,
Yeah.
there was like some of the detail was a bit much. I know we can see it now. It's not like in the old
Yeah.
days where you couldn't see flaws, but
Yeah.
it looks like he looks like a 40s character.
Yeah.
He's got a 40s. And also there's this thing about 40 movies. This is the thing. Alex Ross does it a lot. Especially when he's doing Astro City, that characters from the 40 had that 40s movie star jaw or face.
Sure.
They'll look
Sure.
like Shazam looks like Fred McMurray.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From Double Indemnity.
Yeah.
So I like that. These all people, all these, even Jason Blood, he's got that haircut,
Yeah.
that 30s, 40s crop top haircut.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like the interesting, because I'm reading from the omnibus listeners, so I don't exactly know what page number I'm on. Hang on one second.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, the phone conversation with Alan is interesting because it's obviously that, you know, you see sort of Etrigan sort of listening in, standing on the roof of the Gotham Broadcasting building, if that's where he is. That's quite
Yeah.
interesting. And then that brings us, as you say, to sort of the split panel with Ted doing some science and Jason checking through books, and then Ted. That's one when then we see Ted talking to Billy and Billy bringing up the specs from Dr. Fate, which is it's an
Yeah.
interesting one because Ted, when Billy sort of says, you know, it's a magic detector, and Ted says it's an energy register. There's no such thing as magic, Billy. No such thing. And this what's ultimately this story is about Ted realizing that he needs to broaden his outlook a little bit. You know, he needs to. It kind of gives him. He gets a fright when he realizes that there's stuff that he doesn't believe is real. Kind of is real.
Yeah. I was just I like this because he goes from that 2-panel page, which is the two where it's just Ted science and Jason Blood doing his best Giles from Buffy.
Yes.
But yeah, I love that thing about him being a scientist, and this is him before his breakdown.
Yeah.
So science isn't, he hasn't failed science and science hasn't failed him.
Yeah.
Because I think because we'll see one where he's kind of in the period coming up where he's not doing as well.
Yeah. He's quite uptight in this one, I think. You know,
yeah.
He's quite, you really get the sense that he's maybe feeling the strain of everything that's gone on over the last few years. And
this is 44,
right?
The
shades
so it's
narration,
the end of the war.
The
war hasn't ended yet.
Yeah. The shades narration at the end makes a kind of quite a pointed sort of, you know, observation, but we'll get to that. But I mean, so Ted tracks down, you know, what's going on, and we learn that there's this, you know, ritual going to be carried out, this spell going to be carried out, to try and here we are. If the spell is successful, Conrad, if Opal City is devoured into the void, then the fatherland will have the weapon it needs to defeat the Americans. We will win the Führer's love. So there's Nazis operating in Opal.
Yeah, and of course you always do a cultish ceremony in a warehouse full of shit.
Yeah, it's exactly like the one at the start of the JSA Returns in a couple of years. That Rex is watching.
Why are they? I mean, what is the need to put them in a warehouse? I mean, there are a lot of scenes in old 30s movies set in warehouses because they're easy to do. You know, all you have to do is stack boxes.
Exactly. Exactly. I wonder
if the Nazis, you want the Führer's love, man. Oof.
Yeah.
And then Ted flies up in to.
Yes, the Daggett Machine Works deserted in 1938.
Okay, why would a Machine Works be out of business in 1944 in the United States? I know,
exactly.
No, this is,
depends what they made. It depends what they made, I suppose, doesn't it? This is great. And then, of course, Etrigan comes leaping up towards him. Your face is new, your gaze is bright, your gaze is strong, as is your light. Your power and forces may aid these fools, but mine are fiercer, fouler tools. though stellar fire is yours to harness, my flame stoked in hell's own furnace. And Ted is just like, what
The fuck?
yeah. He
I
cannot.
love
he
it.
does
It's a
not like
great.
it at
It's
all.
very Magnolia-esque in a way.
Yes.
But
Yes. Very.
Matt does a great. This is all him. All this stuff because also the use of color
Mhm.
in this is that everybody when they're in a suit is in like muted browns and grays and in a blue, but not
Yeah.
four color blue. So
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
have Ted and Etrigan in a panel with them, they're a bright light
Yeah.
of red and yellow and green and purple. They are. This seems so a natural team up to me in a way visually that they aesthetically look good together.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they kind of. I mean, it's the reds, isn't it? The red and the golds, the red and yellow. They complement each other very nicely.
Yeah, they do. They do. And they're so I'm glad you read. I have a hard time reading Etrigan and Bizarro.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Right. No,
I just read the whole Terrific's Companion and I got to the 4-issue crossover with Bizarro. I was
Sure.
like, fuck, I gotta read Bizarro for 4 issues.
No, wait. I suppose maybe because I don't know. I think it's Etrigan's. There's a, I don't know.
Oh no,
Because,
no,
maybe because he's rooted in Britain, shall I say? I don't know.
yeah. Oh, I love him as a character. I mean, I'm in the Kirby stuff. I remember looking at as a kid over and over and over again. I'd like
That's
to read
amazing.
it. It is amazing. I mean, I wish I had it. It's coming out in a DC Finest, so
Yeah,
that will be purchased.
yeah.
But I like this panel because it's a 2-panel spread.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because it's Ted's narration is that, oh my god, what is it? Got to fire, and he zaps the cosmic rod, and Estrigan's not first, and of course the Nazis see them through the skylight, and Ted is freaking out, like, what are you? What are you? The answer lies in fire at hand. What more need you to understand? Amazing. I bet it must be great fun to write Etrigan.
I bet it is. I bet it's also hard because you have to be very succinct.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think he does it. And it was, I think Robinson does it perfectly because when they start to have conversations, a little more of a conversation, it really works. Like the Nazis flee probably they're going next door to the next convenient site B. Oh, another empty warehouse.
There's another,
right at the end of World
warehouse
War
across
II.
town. Yeah.
It's like, right. Oh, they'll go to Turk County.
Yeah. Because then Etrigan basically says, right, they're moving on, but I'll be there when they start. And so then we see Ted talking to Red Bailey, and Ted looks really panicked. It thought I was guarding the Nazis, Red. I think its verse seemed to imply that, and Red is like, stars, you keep calling the thing in what was it? And Ted's like, I'm not sure. And then we get a bit more of the shades narration of it all. Jason Blood's cooking about, and Ted having a sleepless night. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
What I like because in the panel page before we see Ted freaked out that there's this 4-panel exchange where the demon is just like, oh, this guy's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then explains us what's going on and said, well, we'll meet again, basically.
Yeah. Because the demon's not concerned now, because the Nazis have buggered off, the demon's like, right, okay, it's not worth my time to have to get into another fight or anything. But he says, if the next time they try it and you're there, we will fight again. Yeah. And that's what obviously Ted's saying to Red, that he thinks that he's obviously worried that the demon thinks he's on their side.
Yeah. I like that panel at the crossroom with the Etrigan on top of a church.
Yeah.
It's an Orthodox church, it looks like it.
Yeah, because there's a bit of narration from the shade. And at that time, there was word of sightings. Old men and Eagle Scouts out scouring the night skies for enemy planes saw something that they would carry with them forever. A beast, some form of beast, and its obscene skyline dance. That would only cease intermittently at those times when it cursed the heavens. Amazing.
I love it.
Amazing. Because even that just makes you sort of, you can visualize everything that's going on, and it's just like, because the demon is quite, obviously the way he's often drawn is a little bit cartoony, but he's a terrifying idea.
Yeah, I think what it is because Kirby drew him as this thick, shorter than a human,
Yeah.
like a gargoyle that could speak.
When did you first encounter Etrigan? What was the first thing you read with
My
him in it?
brother handed me one of those 70s demon issues. They were
Right.
weird, and I would pick them up and I would flip through it, and he had a handful of them, and it was the Kirby 70 stuff. Me as a kid, it just made me flip through it a lot.
Yeah.
And reading New Gods for the first time, I mean, and it's a lot, and I dipped out for a bit because it was, some of the early stuff in Jimmy, it's a little repetitive. It's beautiful. I think I really prefer 70s Kirby
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah,
especially the art
I've-
on his DC. I know, he's not the greatest scripter.
Yeah.
He's
Because
not good,
I've developed
but
much more of an appreciation for him the last couple of years because we did Starman I too, we did the Kirby with Jimmy Olsen stuff, and I've read some of his other stuff out. I read Omac
his
last year.
DC stuff is gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
Omac is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Command.
I think you
They're
get
putting
to
that
you
omnibus
get
back
to
with everything else in it.
you get to Eternals and it's a bit of a struggle. It's a bit like it's not quite as, it's a bit slower. But I was just going to say the first time I met Etrigan was I got issue 1 of the Matt Wagner miniseries.
Oh, that's a really good miniseries.
I think I've got the collected edition of it now since then, so I should probably finish it.
What, did they mess it up?
After 40 years? No, I think he just did it for 4 years, and then the character went away again. And I think he was in an issue of Action Comics, and then he got the ongoing book. Was it Alan Grant that wrote it for a long time? I'm not sure.
Yeah, because there's
I'm
some of that in.
sure.
I got the Hitman omnibus, and there's some issues of that series of Demon.
I'm sure I've got the collection of the Matt Wagner one. I shall add that to the bottomless, endless pile.
Oh shit! Don't even. I went to the comic shop on Friday, and I've read one comic from the stack.
Right.
So, but yeah, I like it. Then we cut to this 2-panel page where you see Etrigan doing his homework. And Ted, is he trying to math out the demon?
I think he must have. I mean, Jason's still looking up books and stuff, but it says Shade's narration. Ted Knight, on the other hand, I know what he did. He worked refining his energy sensor.
Oh,
Then
okay.
at other times he didn't work, and his dreams were fitful. So he's working on his magic detector.
Yeah.
Even though that's not what he would call it. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one, this, because it's about Ted's, I suppose just people in general not having the ability to see beyond their own sort of, not prejudices, but their own worldview about not being open.
Everybody has their worldview.
Yeah.
Everybody
it's an interesting one.
Everybody sees what they see. It's kind of why, they say an eyewitness is the worst witness you want to anything.
Yeah.
Because most people don't remember a lot of stuff immediately.
Yeah.
Because but that different worldview and this is, got to think about it. It's during the war. I don't know how much James is in. I don't think he could have leaned in more that this is during the war, because it's still 44. No one surrendered yet. D-Day just happened, probably. It's probably like 3 months after D-Day. So no, there wouldn't be an empty warehouse in a city with a fucking port.
No chance.
But I do think he gets the feel of the aesthetic of it. I'm seeing Universal Monster. I'm seeing Detco. A lot of Opal and Gotham must have had a building boom during the 20s, 30s, and 40s, because they're both like the most. They're always done as Deco. The atmosphere.
Maybe I think there's a few. There must have been a few architects in common, I think.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. We got a couple buildings in this. We have my wife works in one. It's an old Art Deco building built in the 20s. It's nice on the outside. It's shit on the inside.
I mean, it's interesting because we've just, as we speak, like currently the new Spider-Man movie is being filmed in Glasgow, because some of the buildings we've got over here, are similar enough to the ones that were built in New York around about the same time.
Yeah. As long as you don't pan your camera up past like a second story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, honestly, they want this. They
Yeah.
used to come to Richmond to because it looks like Baltimore.
Sure.
Because they didn't want to go in Baltimore in the 80s because it was dangerous.
Yeah.
But I like how we have the aesthetic is great. We've got them getting ready for the next They
Yes,
start
they've
the
got-
next seance, and
at the other empty warehouse across town. Yeah, and it's interesting. One of the guys actually looks a bit like one of the Nazis. Looks like Ted as an old man with that hat and those glasses on. It's quite
yeah, he does.
that's
Yeah,
quite
he does. I haven't even
distracting.
thought about that.
Yeah. But then Ted's magic detector goes off and Jason gets a sort of spider sense sort of moment.
Yeah.
And you can take a drink, listeners, because we see Ted flying in front of a full moon.
Yeah.
And then Jason gets to say, "Gone, gone, form of man, rise the demon Etrigan," which is great.
It's an always been it's I like how the name of that theater is the Stony.
Oh yeah, the Stonycroft Theatre. That's where it's happening. It's not another warehouse.
Yeah, but I think the Croft part is a kind of thing about Lovecraft. Do you think?
Well, it could be.
Yeah, because it's got a
Yeah.
little sounds like a
Could
little
be.
like. But I do like it. It's 4 panels. I mean, it's that the two of them going. It's begun, and they both say the same thing.
Yeah.
And one's learning from magic, and one's learning from science.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then we get into the ritual. Now, see, this looks more ritually. You got drapes, you got some
Candles.
more you got more candles. But again, look, they're all in oranges and yellows, like candlelight, and Ted's in full color. And he's
Very
tiny
effective,
in
isn't
one
it?
panel.
Yeah. I like them sort of. It looks like he does actually take a bullet at one point here.
Yeah, it does. Maybe where he's got, I don't know. Does this cosmic rod stop bullets?
I think so, but I think maybe he has to make sure that it's doing so. I mean,
Yeah.
Ted kind of gets swarmed by the Nazis, and then Etrigan arrives. And do you think one of the goons here looks like the goon? You know,
Yeah, he does. But how many
I
years
was-
before the Goon is this?
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
1998,
So the goon, I'm not sure when the goon it was about 10, 15 years ago, something like that. I'm not sure.
something like that.
So it's quite interesting seeing him. That's quite distracting. Actually, wait on it. Hang on.
But
Is it
I love
longer?
that
I'm going to look him up. Actually.
Okay.
All right. The Goon first appeared in March 1999. Apparently.
Oh shit.
All right. An early
Maybe
prototype.
they should. Maybe Matt and Eric and what is it? Eric Powell.
Yeah. It's
Maybe they
possible.
shared a studio or something.
Yeah.
Because this is, I could see you could have Matthew Smith could draw a good Goon cartoon comic
Yeah.
strip. Maybe perfect.
Yeah.
I love this the second page of the battle where Etrigan comes jumping in.
Yeah.
I'll take this one since you're doing all the heavy lifting, but I do love this one. No truer words have yet been said, as these around so soon the dead will learn in their last moments spent before my flame and them hell sent. I see you now, you are not my foe, therefore I advise you, go.
Yeah. He's seen that last
He's
part.
kind of
to
cool.
Ted.
He looks like Sammy
Yeah.
Davis Jr. snapping his fingers while he's
Yeah.
walking through the room. Boom, 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 I'm Sammy
Yeah,
Davis.
and there is a real sort of Powell look to. There's a bit of touch that Gene has as well, actually. I think some of the shading on Etrigan in this, but it's like he's obviously it's him realizing that Ted is fighting the Nazis as well, and telling Ted to get out before he kicks off. And then obviously in the next page he blows up the theater and he's got the book that he's after and all that sort of stuff. And then Ted flies down for a chat, and Ted looks really scared.
Looks
throughout this.
really terrified.
Really unsettled.
Like, I'm unsettled, and there may be something in my little green panties right now.
Yeah. Let's have a.
But I do love it because Etrigan they don't play him comedically in this at
No.
all.
Yeah, it's very.
But sometimes
straight
he's played for both. A
Mhm.
good writer can make him scary in one page and funny in the next.
Yeah. I like how Estrigan explaining to Ted that he wants the book because it might help him sort of gain the throne of hell.
Yeah.
And Ted sort of saying that he can't believe what the Etrigan is who he claims to be. And it's interesting because Etrigan says, "You want the proof? I'll give it here. You'll know true hell within a year. The toy you helped men to conceive, its fiery breath shall live and breathe. But you will feel so far from proud at that almighty mushroom cloud. You'll lie crazed in a sickly bed, the hell I speak of, in your head. And so it is, I must depart to brood and plot my lowly art. I'll leave while we're still of accord of what I'm through, I'm done, I'm bored." Yeah, because Ted interrupts him, but Etrigan still manages to keep the rhyming going in his reply.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's obviously Etrigan anticipating, the atom bomb and Ted's involvement with it, and Ted's guilt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because this is, I really like this one, and after rereading it, because the foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I like giving Ted. This is Ted at his most egotistical. I don't believe in magic. I'm smarter. It's all science. I can figure everything out.
Yeah.
And then seeing Etrigan and Adjum going, hey, man, I see your future. And if he says mushroom cloud and bomb, he's already working on the bomb at this point.
Yeah.
Because the bomb will be ready next year. It's not like if the super scientists in the comic world are there with Oppenheimer, he's been to Los Alamos.
Sure.
And he knows exactly. And I think that's why he looks so terrified. Like, what is the bomb go?
Yeah. Because I mean, it's Ted sort of, is this the beginning of Ted's sort of wonderings about whether or not he's done the right thing?
Yeah, it's great. And I always like and then we cut. The final page is Jack and the Shade writing it, and Jack reading these entries.
Yeah.
This is great. I love this. And I want to think that maybe Jack is, and maybe why they're 3 times. How I'm going to rationalize that there are 3 times pass in the Justice League invitation, all before he decides to go to space, or round when he decides to go to space. Is he reading these to get a better judge of what his father would do?
Okay. Yeah, that's a thought.
He's reading these entries. And then he reads this one. He goes, my dad had to, this is what he was like when he was peak hero, which is what Jack is at this point.
And it also, in a way, it also kind of that aspect of it kind of ties back to the dinner party issue with the GSAers when they talk about pride and vanity and such things, and that's obviously what is blocking Ted here from fully accepting everything that's going on. So you could maybe argue a case for that tying into it, because obviously Mr. Terrific and Atom and Canary and all that gave Jack some advice for what was coming up, and obviously we're getting to that. We're getting to the stuff that's coming up, i.e. Jack, going off to space and stuff. So it's kind of, it's an interesting idea that Jack's, considering some of the stuff that Ted might have done in the past and thinking about how that would affect what he's got to do.
Yeah, it might be. That's kind of what I'm thinking, is because the last real major event that's happened in the book is her telling him.
Yeah.
Nothing really else has happened.
Yeah.
There was the secret file where he's talking to his tattoo artist and Ted's talking to what's his girlfriend? Sadie.
Yeah.
Sadie.
And then there's the crossover with Shazam, but that's much more of a Bullet Man Shazam sort of story rather than anything that really has any huge impact on what Jack's going to do.
Yeah. So I think, I'm in my head canon, this is affecting his decision, and so is 44, the next one we're doing. The Justice League 2, but that's a separate, that's him going to the A-Team to get some advice. Yeah. Isn't it? Is that really all that was? Is this him going?
Well, I seem to remember he wants to go into space, and he's asking them, he's sort of saying, right, I need to go to space to find Bill Payton, and they're like, well, we were there, we saw him die, they're reluctant to help him, which is why obviously Jack goes elsewhere, and I will not say who he goes to because Ross will cover that in an upcoming episode.
Yes, and it's beautiful. It is. I was summoned through the compendium. It's like he's in space forever. It's a long art. I love it.
It is. There's one issue.
Journey. I think it needs to be that long.
There's one issue I'd really like to come on as well, because I know I've come on for the Talking with Davids and the Times Past, but I'd really like to come on for the Space Cabbie issue.
Oh, hell yeah. Just remind me.
Because that's hilarious.
I bought that DC Science compendium. It's
right.
This isn't
I think-
spoiler. It's folks. This isn't spoiler because one, it has Captain Comet and Tommy Tomorrow in it, and I've maybe read 2. You know what I mean? And I've
Sure.
always loved Captain Comet since I first read Secret Society of Supervillains when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that series.
Pete's-
I love that
Pete's
character.
a big fan. Pete's
I
a
am-
huge fan of Captain Comet. Hi, Pete.
So it's nice to get read the real ones. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not the
Sure.
interpretations.
Sure,
and-
yeah.
And
As he was originally, not like, yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, and there's been an announcement because I'm reading. Is it Wade Superboy in action, which I'm enjoying.
I didn't know about this until think Martin
it's only
said
2 or
something
3
about
issues
it.
in now.
right. I'm gonna have to try and see if we've still got them in the
But
shop.
he's
so I
going
can read them.
to. This is spoilers, fan. That Captain Comet is going to be his mentor.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Interesting.
That's a Silver Age hero teaching
Ah.
basically a Silver Age character, which is what Superboy is.
Yeah,
He functions
interesting.
mostly. Yeah, so I'm excited. But I think that makes sense.
Interesting.
Um,
Right, I'm gonna have to make a note and try and remember to look for them tomorrow. Have I got a pen? Yes. Do I have a bit of paper? Yes.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying
Superboy in
enjoying
action.
all DC right now. I think DC and Mark Waid's doing good. So overall, what do you think of it? I think this is one of the better ones. This was fun. I had forgotten about this one, and I thought it's beautifully
Yeah,
drawn.
I liked
It
it.
is
I
really,
think-
I think
yeah.
beautifully
think-
drawn, and it's it's a great one and done. I like a good one and done comic.
Yeah. I think Matt Smith's artwork is my favorite thing about it. I really like
Yeah.
Etrigan as a character. I like the way he's played straight. I like it adds a bit more shading to what, to what happened to Ted in the background. Because obviously, the Golden Age miniseries when it first came out was an Elseworlds, but that was kind of aspects of it were folded into the main continuity. And one of the things in that obviously is that Ted's in an asylum because he went a bit loopy after everything with the
Post traumatic
bomb.
stress disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that this one is sort of involved with that. It's another. It's telling us that it wasn't just the bomb. There was some other stuff as well that was making Ted question everything that he believed.
Yeah. I agree with you. Matt Smith's art is definitely the best thing about it. And I like a lot. I liked everything else about it. It's a very simple superhero team up comic. It really does it well.
Yeah.
Because team up sometimes they become friends and chatty, and this is like, no.
Yeah. They don't
You're out with
really,
man of science. I'm here to save your ass.
Yeah, they don't really team up at all. They just
Oh.
sort of it's they're working on the same case, but they don't join up to kind of try and solve it together.
Yeah, because there's no solving it. It's Etrigan's.
Yeah.
I need the book needs to come with me.
Yeah.
And it's gonna, I like that Ted he doesn't win a battle in this. I mean, Etrigan saves his ass both times, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then almost
Yeah.
kills him. He was nice enough to say you should leave.
Yeah. It's another little chink in Ted's armor, which is in a way it's sad to see because he's the hero, but I suppose it's like the good thing is James is putting flesh on the bones of the kind of the looser characteristic or characters that he had originally, because I've said this in the past, until the Robinson series, the Ted Starman wasn't one that I really gave a lot of time to. It wasn't really a character I was fond of or really impressed by, but James added so much and gave him a character that he went up in, I think, a lot of people's estimations.
I agree, man, because my first for Ted, and I think everybody on the podcast knows this, it was those Brave and Bold show, the team ups with Black Canary.
Yeah.
The Murphy Anderson, Gardner Fox ones.
Yeah.
So I knew who he was because in everything else, he was just like when he came in All-Star Comics, when it was moving to right before it moved to Adventure, it's like Commissioner Wayne sends 5 other JSAers to battle the new ones, and he's brought in.
Yeah.
And he looks great, but it's who is this guy? You never really know who he is in the other team ups earlier, and he's not in one. You get a little bit in All-Star Squadron.
Yeah.
But you're right. It really starts with James. It really does. And and I'm reading the Golden Age stuff, and I take what James did, and then it goes on as a filter.
Got you. Sure.
You know what I mean?
I do that.
Where,
I do that.
I do it
too, if I'm reading older stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of when I'm reading him in this one, he's young, and I also think in this one, he's been a hero. for a while now. There's
Mhm.
adulation. He's a member of the Justice Society of America. That's a big deal. And he's
Yeah.
working on a bomb that will save the world.
Yeah.
So, and there is that, that hubris
Yes,
that men
that's the word,
have.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's a very unintentional thing. And during this period of time, a lot of people were asked, because it's during the war, to do extraordinary things.
Yeah.
Or do dangerous things. Everybody had to contribute.
That's it. And people sometimes have ideas about how good they are or what their limits are, but they don't really know until they're placed in a situation that they haven't really considered or imagined. And that's obviously what's happened to Ted in this one. He's sort of like, we see him at the start talking to Billy O'Dare and sort of saying, he doesn't believe in the Spectre and Dr. Fate.
And then he sees Etrigan and just loses his shit and just it unnerves him. And there must be a sense to Etrigan that he's magic. You know what I mean? And I think they do that in the DC universe, that you start to wreck. You would think Justice Leaguers go, gee, I mean, so many of you crank magicians that try to blow up the fucking world. You smell of sulfur, man. What, know, I'm getting used to this. And it pops up every once in a while. I really liked it. And it wasn't a pairing I would have thought of. Other than Jay Robinson likes Gotham. I think, you know what I mean? Because also Starman, in the Golden Age Starman, he's in Gotham City.
Yeah.
He isn't in Opal in those. I mean, at the beginning, Opal's not, all of those, if they say the name of the city, they say Gotham City.
Yeah.
So maybe Ted lived there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just the nerd in me trying to, because Ted's one of, people go, who's your favorite character? Starman. And, if they know enough, they'll ask which one. I said, well, Jack, but I really do like all of them. And I really do love Ted. The version of Ted that we get in this universe is
I have much more of an affection for Starman as a result of this book than I would otherwise. And it's, as I've said, we've said in the past and I've said elsewhere, a lot of really good stuff was done with a lot of these JSA characters in the 90s. Like Sandman had his own book for a few years. Our Man got killed off, but there was some brilliant stuff done before and after that. Ted gets a lot of work in this. Alan Scott and Jay Garrick both featured a lot during the 90s. I think they had a better turn in that time, 50 years after they were first published than what they had originally. Obviously, volume of stories was greater back in the day, but I think there's real potential for these characters, and this was a good thing with this period, was that stuff was being done with them. Interesting stuff was being done with them. Unlike,
you said at the top of it, you listed some of the stuff. Was Manhunter around this?
I think so. Because there's
it's after Chase, but Chase is in a big part of that.
I think it could have been actually. Maybe I'm not sure, but Stars and Stripes would start fairly soon after. Shazam was still going, but not too much longer. I mean, it was an interesting period, and it was quite a fertile period, the mid to late 90s, before, as I've said many times elsewhere in here, before Didido came along with his own plans. And anyway, right, if we want to try and get another 2 done in the next hour and a half, we should probably.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let's stop this one.
Right, are we doing we'll do a wind up for this one?
I'm just going to do an intro and we'll go right into it.
Or do you not want to do a wind up for the episode on 42?
Oh shit, I haven't stopped yet. So hold on.
Right. Okay. Right.
All right.
That's issue 42 then.
Yeah, it's a good one, and we're folks. Next time there's Dave will be back in a couple of weeks, and you will hear us talk about 44. We're just going to hit end, and then start talking again. Oh, I rhymed like Ecrian. Sorry. Well, folks, Dave, tell people where they can find you real quick.
Yeah, you find Peter and I at the Earth 2 podcast. I also contribute to the Doctor Who podcast, The Power of Three. You can get me on Instagram _DaveAds if you want to see what's going on in my life. I would if I was going to offer a recommendation this week, I'd say go and read the 70s Demon comics, or maybe the Matt Wagner 80s miniseries to get some interesting demon stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one. Folks, yeah, I wish I want to do that. I can't wait till they put that the Demon DC Finest comes out so I can read some of that Kirby, early stuff. I really want to.
Yeah.
Folks, I would recommend Oh, I'm recommend something. They've started to collect the Blake and Mortimer
Oh, really?
in hardcover, the oversized hardcover, and I've gotten the first 2 volumes. Number 3 is on the way. It's a Belgian comic about a British scientist and a British military guy who battle this evil. It's supposed to be communist China, but they don't say China. So there's some little stuff that wouldn't fly as much today, but it's really beautifully drawn on the level of Tintin. His name was E.P. Jacobs. They're not that expensive. A lot of places you can get. It's a nice big hardcover with 3 of those, which you would have gotten from like a Asterix and Obelix or any of the Cine 9 reprints. They're wonderful. It's really densely written. There's a lot of explanation of stuff. And it's drawn very like Tintin in a way, but it's not it's about grown up, so it's very good. It's very densely packed, and it's teaching kids about torture and being kidnapped and breaking out of jail and having adventures to flying these super plane. It's actually really good. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to collect them all and read them. But it's when they're 32 pages and it takes you about 90 minutes to read it.
Yeah.
It's so densely packed.
Wow.
But they were written in
Excellent.
1944. But they're fun. All right, folks, as always, hey, be safe, be smart. Please be kind to one another and read some comics. Read some of the Demon.